Hey guys, so I am back here today with the contents of my spring makeup bag. Obviously it's completely empty and not all of the things that I'm going to talk about fit in here, but pretty much I have been switching in and out of all these things, and they just hang out in this pouch so that I can put my makeup on. And I know that I'm wearing color. Isn't that exciting? Aren't you guys proud of me? So I, of course, didn't bring a hair tie, so like my hair is in my face and that annoys the hell out of me. So I'm just gonna try to push it all back. Now for base, I have been using a primer, a new primer. I've been obsessed with it, and this is the Hourglass Mineral Primer, the oil-free. And I only use this just in the center of my face where I have a little bit of like enlarged pores, I guess you can say. But I find that this just makes everything super smooth, and it kind of helps combat whatever oiliness I have going on. But I mainly concentrated on my chin, around my nose, this area right here, and forehead. Now, because we're getting into the warmer months, I know I'm not gonna be all about, like, this is what I've been using, the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation, which you could probably still use and sheer out to nothing, but I like just something liquid and easy to plop on. And this has to be like my favorite BB cream ever, and it is the Burberry Fresh Glow BB cream in the shade Dark. And my Glossier skin tint, that's like, I need to have this at all times because I just can't be without it. It's awesome. So I'm gonna use that duo today. I'm gonna do a pump of the Burberry BB cream and then just a tiny bit. I find that if I mix this into foundations that I'm using, or even like the stick foundation, and I apply this over top, it just emulsifies it just a little bit more, and it just looks so natural on the skin. So I'm just gonna mix the two up a little bit and then just dot it all over my face. Some on my chin, and then take my brand new Beauty Blender sponge and just lightly buff that into my skin. I have to actually get a new one of these because I'm running low. I took this with me on vacation, and this is all I wore throughout the entire trip. This and a darker skin tint. Okay, so base is done. Now for concealing, I did mention to you guys I purchased the Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher in medium. It is a little bit light for me, but I have been able to make it work, and it kind of gives me like that highlighted look. Not to the extreme that people go and slather, you know, piles of it on, not that kind of highlighting, but it does highlight a little bit. But then I've also been using the Naked Urban Decay Naked Skin, what is this, color correcting fluid in the shade Peach. I have had super dark bags. Today they're not that bad. I actually fell asleep on the couch at 9 o'clock. That's super early for me. I fell asleep on the couch at 9, didn't wake up till like 3 a.m. My boyfriend left me on the freaking couch, and then I crawled upstairs at 3 a.m., went back to sleep, and guess who freaking was calling my name at 6:30 in the morning? My daughter. And I'm just like, it's 6:30 on a Saturday, you know, morning. I don't work. Why the hell are you up at 6:30? But she did. She woke up at 6:30, and you know, she's 5 years old. She's not 5 months old. But anyway, yeah, I've been up since 6:30 a.m. But I feel good. I feel rested. Like I needed that rest. Okay, maybe it brightens up a lot. I promise, in person it doesn't look like this. I just have to blend it. Charlotte Tilbury like sold me on it. I was watching a video with her and Nick from the Pixie Woo sisters, and she was talking about it when she was using it under Nick's eyes, and I was like, oh my god, this lady, what are you doing to me? So yeah, I ordered it immediately. Okay, so during spring, summer, I still wear creams. I'm obsessed with like cream blushes, cream bronzers, contour. I'm just a really big fan of cream products on my face. Although I do have slightly oilier skin, but I find that if I set in certain places, I have oily / normal skin. I think there's ways that you can do some tricks and just play around with it a little bit. It might be a little bit of extra work, I know, but to achieve that overall like dewy skin look for an oilier type can be done. Let's do contouring. I've been using this palette from Makeup Forever. This is their Pro Sculpting palette. This is in 20. I also have 30, but I find that 30, the contouring shade is slightly warmer, and that I would use more so for bronzing, where this is a really cool, it makes me think of the Kevin Aquan sculpting powder in medium. Yes, medium. Okay, so the hell was that? I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever 108 brush. It's like this flat paddle brush, but I'm able to just like dip my brush into the contour palette, or not palette, shade. See, I can't even speak. And I got rest. I have no excuse. And I like to kind of carve it out. So there you go. And then leave it like that. No, I'm just joking. Also, there's this person, I don't know who the hell it is. I can't remember the username, but he or she keeps commenting like, you're a good looking dude. You're good looking this. Like, hey man, what's up? And I swear to God, if it were appropriate, I would screenshot you a picture of my crotch. But I know that it isn't appropriate, so I can't do that. Let's go for blush. Ooh, I really wanted to quickly talk about this. And this is the Daniel Sandler Watercolor Liquid Blush, also purchased because of the Pixie Woo sisters. They talk about this all the time. And then Estee from Estee Lalonde, who used to be Essie Button, she also has talked about this. This is the shade Gentle. And at first online, because it's so hard to buy stuff online, I thought it would be something like this H&M blush that I have here. And I think it kind of looks like it, but it's not. It's really warm. It's really peachy. Still very, very pretty. And it is so pigmented. Like, you only need a tiny drop. I like squirted a whole bunch, and I went to go like mix it and put it on my cheeks, and I was like, whoa, that is a ton. And then the best way I found to apply this is with a stippling brush, and then to just like kind of buff it away. I'm not going to use it today because I don't think it's going to go with this lip shade that I'm putting on. But I am just going to use my H&M cream blush. I'm still obsessed with it. This is in the shade Cameo Brown. So I just use my finger and kind of like pat it on. I find the best way to apply this is fingers. People say to smile and put it on the apples of your cheeks. I don't smile too often, one. My face is usually a resting bitch face. But if I smiled and did that, my blush would be here in the center of my face. And for some people, the way that their face is structured, that's perfectly fine. If it works for you, do it that way, but sure as hell doesn't work for me. Can you imagine bitch face with like blush here? Now, like I said, highlighting, I have been sticking to creams. I feel like my voice is so like, well, I don't know. Anyway, highlighter. Tom Ford's this cheek duo that I told you guys about. I spoke about it in my Tom Ford video. This pink highlighting portion, oh my God, it is so freaking brilliant. I love it. I do think I prefer this blush duo to the pink sand, although it's kind of hard to compare the two because they're both different formulas. But if you had to have one, I would go with this one, because you get the blush and the highlight in one. It's powder. People tend to reach for powders more so than a cream blush. People aren't really comfortable with wearing that. So I would say go for the powder to be safe. But if you're like a blush lover like I am, then definitely get Pink Sand. That one's a really nice one. Jeez Louise, that sheen, and then it's like a pink, like subtle pink, and I'm like obsessed with pinks all of a sudden. But it just looks so pretty. Love it. So I used the Wayne Goss #2 brush. Sorry, I haven't been talking about the brushes I've been using. Powder my face. I've been using the same powders for ages. Hourglass Dim Light. I love it on this Makeup Forever 122 brush. Just looks like a typical duo fiber brush. I just take a little bit on and then just put it in the center of my forehead, on my nose, and then here, this area here. Then I have been using Tom Ford Terra. The only thing I have found close to this, or that I loved as much as this, is the Jouer bronzer. I think it's in Suntan. I don't know if they do that shade anymore, now that I'm thinking about it. I know people were having some issues trying to find it when I spoke about it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to contact their PR and see if they still do that shade. But I'm gonna take the powder on a Ray Morris Kabuki brush and just lightly go over the contour, but I like to bring it up onto the cheek a little bit. Some people ask me, why don't I do swatches? I feel like there's so many blogs that do swatches, and if you wanted to look at a shade, you can, you know, link them down. Like Tim Talia's the freaking like swatch wizard guru. Like if you wanted to go see swatches, you go on Tim Talia. But me personally, like I have a different skin tone than everybody else. I don't think it's fair if I put something on my lips and then you go out and get it, unless you had the same skin tone as I do, obviously. And then you're not happy with it. So I like describing the finish, the texture, the consistency, the longevity. I guess like over analyzing the product rather than just showing you, oh, you know, this is such a pretty color, it's pink, blah, 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 and end of that. I like to really go in depth and talk about the products that I use and why I choose them and how the texture and the consistency works for my personal skin tone or others, like what I would think this would do for a paler skin complexion or on a drier skin, like things like that. I like to recommend stuff but know what I'm using and what's in the product versus just doing swatches. I feel like a lot of people do swatches, and that's not that it's a cop out or it's the easier way out, but it's super easy for me to just swatch something and show it to you. Oh my god, I'm like rambling now. But yeah, that's why I don't do swatches, not because I'm being lazy. I don't know, they're not for me, I guess. I will occasionally show you something if I'm really excited about it, but again, I'm not a swatching kind of girl. Hopefully I made sense and I wasn't talking out of my ass, but I don't really know how to explain it. And I'm not trying to offend anybody that does swatches or show them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just my style of blogging and doing videos is just different from your average. But anyway, I'm gonna go in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I have been using the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Again, my stepsister didn't like hers and she actually gave it to me, which was pretty sweet. And now I can't find it. I don't know where the hell I put it. Maybe it's in the bathroom still. Maybe I didn't put it in the bag, but this is a perfectly good dupe for it. It's such a good brow product. But I'm just gonna fill in my brows where there's just some sparse areas. Nothing too crazy. Okay, so I'm like super close up in your face. For eyes, I have been sticking to this Tartelette, the Amazonian Clay Matte Palette. Just gonna put that all over my eyelid and just push it on. Okay, so once I get that all done, I'm gonna take the Wayne Goss brush. This is the number 6 brush, which makes me think of like a MAC 2 and 7. Same shape, but a lot better. Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of this Natural Beauty color on the Wayne Goss number 8 brush. This is like a push liner brush, but I find that it really gets really close to the lash line. I'm just concentrating the majority of the color on the outer portion of my eye. That's what I like to do. And this number 3 brush from Wayne Goss, and just making sure everything's blended and buffed out. Now that that's done, I'm gonna just curl my eyelashes. I'm gonna go into winged liner. Let's find it. And I've raved about this Tom Ford liner. It is freaking brilliant. I've told you guys about it, how much I love it. So I'm just gonna do a really small flick. Let's hope I don't screw this up on camera. So let's start with the outer corner. I'm just hoping I'm in focus for you guys. Okay, so I struggled a little bit. A couple of you asked me how I get it so sharp. I have a trick that I use, and this is the Sephora Professional Angled Liner Brush. I don't think they do this specific brush anymore, maybe one similar to it, but it is so, I wish I can show you the point of it. It's so thin, and what I do is I flatten it out a bit. I take a little bit of some Bioderma and literally just drench it in this, swipe it up, and it gives me a very crisp line, just in case if I, mess up like I did today. Now for lips, I did do a whole entire post of like my current lip rotation because I have way too many. So I'll link that post down below. But the lip combo that I've been loving is the Kylie Dolce K lip kit. But I'm gonna grab the Dolce K lip liner and just kind of outline my lips. You don't have to do this, but I think this and the liquid lipstick pair really nicely together. Now I'm gonna go in with the Kylie liquid lipstick, the Dolce K one. Now I touched briefly on the smell of it. It smells absolutely like, I'm not a fan of vanilla. It makes me think of like butterscotch candy. So that's pretty much all that lives in my makeup bag right now, or like my spring makeup picks. Yeah, so winged liner, very matte but very dewy. It's basically all I wear. So yeah, that is the contents of my spring makeup bag. And what's next week's video? I think it's April favorites. I have a couple, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.